Listen carefully because what I'm about to tell you is something almost no one dares to say out loud. Most men spend their entire lives complimenting women the wrong way, chasing the obvious, praising what everyone else can see, and wondering why they never truly connect. But today, you're going to discover the kind of words that reach deep inside a younger woman's mind, her heart, and even her soul. Words that leave an impression so powerful she will never forget the way you made her feel. These are not the compliments you've heard 1,000 times on social media or in movies. I'm not talking about telling her she's beautiful or sexy or flawless. I'm talking about words that unlock respect, admiration, and emotional attachment. Words that show her you see her mind, her growth, her calm, her essence, and even her future self. Words that make her feel understood in a world where almost no one notices the depth beneath her exterior. Words that make her feel safe, recognized, and seen for who she really is. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 5 compliments that younger women secretly crave, but rarely admit. Compliments that older men have the unique ability to give if they know how to speak with awareness, confidence, and sincerity. Compliments that change the way she sees you, the way she feels around you, and the way she remembers you. If you've ever wondered why some men seem unforgettable, why some women stay thinking about a man long after he's gone, or why attraction goes beyond looks and charm, this is what you've been missing. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal will challenge everything you thought you knew about connection, attraction, and respect. And if you listen closely, it will change the way you approach every relationship for the rest of your life. Keep watching because these 5 compliments will unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Most men don't realize this, but the fastest way to lose a younger woman's respect is not by being older. It's by speaking to her like she's only a pretty face. Because the truth is, younger women are constantly living inside a world where everyone is trying to reduce them to something simple: their body, their looks, their age, their social media presence, their ability to be entertaining. And when you live in that kind of world long enough, you start to feel like your value is always conditional, like you have to perform to be chosen, like you have to stay attractive to stay relevant. And that's why the first compliment matters more than any other, not because it sounds poetic, but because it does something psychologically rare. When you look at a younger woman and say, "I love how you think," you're not complimenting her, you're validating her existence. You're telling her, "I see a mind behind that face." You're telling her, "I see a person behind that beauty." You're telling her, "I'm not here to consume you, I'm here to understand you." And that distinction is everything. Because most men, especially younger men, approach women with hunger. It's not always sexual hunger, but it is a kind of emotional hunger. They want attention, they want validation, they want the thrill of being chosen by someone beautiful, so they compliment what they want, and they do it in the most predictable way possible. They say she's gorgeous, they say she's stunning, they say she's perfect, and yes, it might work for a moment, it might make her smile, it might make her feel desired, but it never makes her feel respected. And a woman can enjoy desire, but she cannot build loyalty on it. This is where older men often have an advantage, but only if they use it correctly. Because your age means you should have something most younger men don't have yet: perspective, emotional restraint, the ability to look at someone and see beyond what is obvious. And if you have that, then you should not speak like every other man who is trying to impress her. You should speak like a man who is trying to recognize her. When you say, "I love how you think," you're doing something subtle. You're shifting the entire dynamic. You're no longer chasing her, you're studying her. And that creates a different type of attraction because women, especially younger women, are deeply sensitive to the energy behind your words. They can tell when you're flattering them for access. They can tell when you're complimenting them for permission. They can tell when your words are simply a strategy. And when they sense that, even if they smile, something inside them closes. But when your compliment is about the way her mind works, the way she sees the world, the way she interprets life, something inside her opens, because now she's not just being looked at, she's being listened to. And you have to understand, Being listened to is a rare experience for most women, especially younger women, because when they speak, men often pretend to listen while secretly thinking about what they want next. They wait for the moment to interrupt. They wait for the moment to impress. They wait for the moment to turn the conversation into flirting. So when you say, "I love how you think," and you genuinely mean it, you create a moment that feels unfamiliar to her nervous system. It feels safe. And that safety is powerful because it's not the safety of boredom. It's the safety of being understood. It's the safety of not being used. This compliment also does something else that most men don't realize. It removes competition. A younger woman is constantly competing, even if she doesn't admit it, competing with other women, competing with social standards, competing with beauty ideals, competing with the pressure to always be desirable. And when she is with a man who only compliments her appearance, she feels like she has to maintain that image. She has to stay perfect. She has to stay on. But when you compliment her mind, she can relax. She can breathe because now she feels like she can exist as a human being, not as a product. And this is where many men misunderstand attraction. They think attraction is built through intensity, through bold flirting, through exciting words, through physical compliments. But attraction is often built through recognition, through psychological depth, through a feeling that the other person actually sees you. That's why this compliment lands so deeply, because it touches something existential in her. It answers a question she may not even know she's asking. The question is, do you see me as a person or do you see me as an experience? And most men see her as an experience. They want the excitement of dating a younger woman. They want the status. They want the ego boost. They want to feel like they still have it. And that energy is obvious. Even if you don't say it, she can feel it. It comes through in the way you stare, the way you speak, the way you react when other men look at her. It comes through in the insecurity that hides behind your compliments. But a man who says, "I love how you think," is not trying to prove anything. He's showing her that her mind is what fascinates him. And fascination is far more powerful than lust, because lust is cheap. Lust is everywhere. Lust is instant. But fascination is rare. Fascination is slow. Fascination makes someone feel like they are worth discovering. That is what women crave, and that is why boys struggle. Boys don't know how to discover. They only know how to chase. And chasing is not romantic, it's predictable. Now let's go deeper. When you compliment her mind, you are also challenging her identity in a positive way. You are telling her that she is more than what society tells her she is. Society tells younger women their power is in their beauty, but deep down, many of them resent that. Because beauty is temporary, beauty is unstable, beauty is something they constantly have to protect. And that creates anxiety. So when you admire her thinking, you're giving her something more stable to hold on to. You're reminding her that her value is not fragile, that her worth is not dependent on age, that her mind can grow, evolve, expand. And that is incredibly attractive because it makes her feel secure. This is also why the compliment must be delivered properly. You can't say it casually like a line. You can't say it like you're reading a script. You have to mean it. You have to say it after you've actually observed something about her, after she's expressed a perspective, after she's shown you her personality. Because if you say it too quickly, it sounds manipulative. If you say it without context, it sounds like a tactic. And women are extremely sensitive to tactics. A younger woman might not have life experience, but she has emotional intuition. She has spent her entire life reading men's intentions. So if you want this compliment to land, you have to earn it. And when you earn it, it becomes unforgettable because what you're really saying is, "I respect your mind enough to listen." And that is a form of intimacy. It's not physical intimacy, it's intellectual intimacy. And intellectual intimacy is the deepest type of connection because it reaches the part of her that most people ignore. You're speaking to her consciousness. And once you speak to a woman's consciousness, her attraction becomes emotional, not superficial. She starts to think about you when you're not around. She starts to replay your words. She starts to feel like she can be fully herself around you, and that is where the bond begins. This is why if you're an older man trying to connect with a younger woman, you should never lead with money, authority, or experience. Those things might impress her, but they won't attach her. They might create admiration, but not connection. Connection comes when she feels that you are interested in her inner world. Because the truth is, a younger woman doesn't just want a man who desires her, she wants a man who understands her, a man who can challenge her without belittling her, a man who can guide her without controlling her, a man who can listen without trying to dominate the conversation. And when you say, "I love how you think," you position yourself as that man, not a man who is trying to take from her, but a man who is capable of seeing her. And once a woman feels seen, she becomes emotionally vulnerable, not because she is weak, but because she finally feels safe enough to stop performing. So if you want to be different, stop giving the compliments every man gives. Stop praising what she already knows about herself. Instead, praise what she secretly hopes someone will notice: her mind, her depth, her perspective, her intelligence, her emotional awareness. Because beauty gets attention, but intelligence earns respect, and respect is what creates real attraction. So remember this: a younger woman has heard she is beautiful 1,000 times, but the day she hears a man say, with calm certainty, "I love how you think," and she feels it's genuine, something changes inside her. She stops seeing you as just another man. She starts seeing you as a rare one. And in a world full of men who only look at women, be the man who understands them, because the man who sees her mind will always be more unforgettable than the man who only saw her face. Now let's move to the second compliment, because this one is subtle, but it is dangerously powerful when you understand what it does to a woman psychologically. And the compliment is this: you have a calm confidence. It's rare. At first it sounds simple, almost casual, like something you could say in passing. But the reason this line hits so deeply is because it speaks directly to something most younger women are quietly fighting every single day: their identity. You see, younger women live in a world where confidence is constantly being performed, not lived, not embodied, but performed. Confidence today is loud, it's curated, it's filtered, it's posted, it's exaggerated. People don't build confidence anymore, they advertise it. They turn it into an image. And the more insecure someone is, the louder they often become, because volume has become a substitute for self-worth. So when a younger woman hears a man say, "You have a calm confidence," it immediately separates her from the crowd. It tells her that you're not impressed by noise, you're impressed by substance, and that is rare, because most men are attracted to the obvious. They chase the loudest girl in the room, the one who looks the most available, the one who draws attention without even trying, and that creates a world where many women feel like they must compete to be noticed. They must dress a certain way, behave a certain way, speak a certain way, post a certain way. They begin to associate value with visibility, and visibility is exhausting. So when you tell her she has calm confidence, you are validating the part of her that doesn't need to scream for attention. You are praising her inner strength, not her outer performance. And the psychological impact of that is deep, because now she feels like you can see something in her that other people overlook. And human beings don't fall in love with the people who flatter them. They fall in love with the people who recognize them. There's a difference. Flattery is cheap. Flattery is surface level. Flattery is what men do when they want access. But recognition is intimate. Recognition is rare. Recognition feels like someone has looked inside you and found something valuable. And that's what this compliment does. It tells her, "I see your composure. I see your self-respect. I see your inner balance." Now let's go deeper, because calm confidence is not just an attractive trait. It is a signal. It signals emotional regulation. It signals self-trust. It signals a level of maturity that most people don't develop until later in life. And that's why it's such a powerful compliment coming from an older man. Because when an older man says it, it carries weight. It doesn't sound like a random line. It sounds like a judgment from experience, like a man who has seen enough people in his life to Now, the difference between fake confidence and real confidence, and every younger woman knows the difference too. She has been around enough insecurity disguised as arrogance. She's been around enough men who are loud, dominant, aggressive, but emotionally fragile. She has seen men who try to control everything because they can't control themselves. So when you admire her calmness, you're not just complimenting her personality. You are telling her you are safe, you are stable, you are not chaotic. And that is what many women are searching for, even if they don't admit it. Because a younger woman may enjoy excitement, but she doesn't want to live in emotional instability. She may enjoy spontaneity, but she doesn't want to be surrounded by emotional unpredictability. And if she is intelligent, she will eventually start valuing peace over drama. But here's the truth most men don't understand. A younger woman doesn't always feel confident, even if she looks confident. Sometimes her confidence is a defense mechanism. Sometimes it is a mask. Sometimes it is a survival strategy in a world that constantly judges her, a world that is constantly trying to test her worth, her beauty, her morality, her intelligence, her choices. So, calm confidence is not something she just has. It is something she has built. And when you recognize that, you are validating her growth. That is why this compliment is so powerful, because you're not complimenting her the way she looks, you're complimenting her the way she carries herself through life, and a woman knows when a man respects the way she carries herself, she can feel it, because your tone changes, your energy changes, your eyes change. You're no longer looking at her like a man who wants her. You're looking at her like a man who is impressed by her. And that shift is the difference between lust and admiration. Now, let's talk about why it's rare is the most important part of that compliment. Because when you say it's rare, you are doing something psychologically strategic. You are placing her in a category above average. You are telling her she's not common. And every human being at their core wants to feel special, but not in a childish way, not in an ego way. They want to feel special in a meaningful way. They want to feel like their qualities are not replaceable, because the fear of being replaceable is one of the deepest fears in modern dating. People are constantly comparing, constantly upgrading, constantly replacing. Social media has made relationships feel disposable. Everyone feels like there's always another option, another person, another conversation, another opportunity. So when you tell her your calm confidence is rare, you are telling her that she has something that cannot easily be replaced. And that creates emotional impact, because now she starts to see herself through your eyes, and the way you make a woman see herself is often more powerful than the way you make her feel about you. If you make her feel like she is rare, she will start to feel proud of herself around you. And when a woman feels proud of herself around a man, she becomes emotionally attached because she associates you with her best self. Now, here's where older men often make a mistake. They assume confidence is about dominance. They think confidence is about controlling a room, being loud, being assertive, being aggressive. But real confidence is quiet. Real confidence doesn't need proof. Real confidence doesn't argue. Real confidence doesn't compete. Real confidence is when a person knows who they are and they don't need anyone's approval to validate it. That's why calm confidence is so attractive, because it shows she doesn't need constant attention to feel valuable. And when a younger woman hears that you see this quality in her, she feels emotionally elevated, because most people don't reward calmness anymore. They reward chaos, they reward drama, they reward extreme behavior, they reward the loudest voice, not the most grounded mind. So you become different in her eyes because you're the man who notices what others ignore, and that is a form of power. Now let's add another layer when you compliment her calm confidence. You are also giving her permission to be feminine without being weak. And this is something many women struggle with internally, because modern culture has confused femininity with fragility. So many women feel like they have to be hard, sharp, defensive, and emotionally distant to survive. They feel like softness is dangerous. They feel like vulnerability is a trap. They feel like being too gentle will get them taken advantage of. So they build an attitude, they build a wall, they build a persona. But calm confidence is the balance between strength and softness. It is the ability to be gentle without being naive. It is the ability to be kind without being a people pleaser. It is the ability to be feminine without losing control of herself. And when you recognize that, you are complementing her emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is what separates women who are admired from women who are simply desired. Now, here's the part that will shock some of you. Most men think younger women want men who are exciting. But the truth is, younger women are surrounded by excitement. They are surrounded by impulsive men, men who chase adrenaline, men who chase attention, men who chase validation. And after a while, excitement starts to feel cheap because excitement is easy. Any man can be exciting for 2 weeks. Any man can be charming at the beginning. Any man can make her laugh. But very few men can make her feel emotionally safe and respected. That's why calm confidence is rare, and that's why she secretly wants to be seen for it. Because deep down, she doesn't want to be the girl everyone desires. She wants to be the woman someone deeply respects. And if you're an older man watching this, understand what your role is. Your job is not to impress her with your status. Your job is to reflect back to her the qualities that will make her powerful in the long run. Because beauty fades, youth changes, attention is temporary, but calm confidence is timeless. And the man who recognizes timeless qualities in a woman becomes timeless in her memory. So don't tell her she's pretty. She already knows she's pretty. Tell her you've noticed something deeper. Tell her you've noticed the way she stays composed when others become reactive. Tell her you've noticed the way she doesn't chase attention, she attracts it. Tell her you've noticed the way she carries herself like she respects herself. Because when you compliment her calm confidence, why, not just making her feel good, you're reminding her of who she is. And the man who reminds a woman of her worth becomes a man she struggles to forget. So the next time you speak to a younger woman, speak like a man who wants her. Speak like a man who sees her, because attention is common. But recognition is rare. And people don't fall in love with attention. They fall in love with the one who saw what nobody else noticed. Now, let's talk about the third compliment, because this one doesn't just attract a younger woman. It disarms her. It goes past her beauty, past her ego, past her defenses, and it reaches the part of her that is tired, the part of her that is carrying more than she admits, the part of her that wants to breathe. And the compliment is this: I feel peaceful around you. If you understand human psychology, you'll realize this is not a romantic line. It's not even a typical compliment. It's something far deeper. It is a confession. It is an emotional revelation. And when a man says it with sincerity, it creates a powerful shift in the woman's mind. Because most younger women are not surrounded by peace. They are surrounded by stimulation. They live in a world that is loud. Social media is loud. Dating is loud. Men are loud. Expectations are loud. Everyone is talking. Everyone is performing. Everyone is competing. Everyone is proving something. And a younger woman, even if she looks confident on the outside, is often overwhelmed on the inside, not because she is weak, but because she is constantly processing. She is constantly being observed, constantly being judged, constantly being approached, constantly being evaluated. And hat kind of attention doesn't always feel flattering. Sometimes it feels like pressure. Sometimes it feels like a spotlight she never asked for. So when you tell her, I feel peaceful around you, you are giving her something that almost no one gives her. You are giving her relief. And relief is addictive. Because peace is not just a feeling. Peace is a nervous system experience. Peace is when the body stops preparing for danger. Peace is when the mind stops anticipating rejection. Peace is when the heart stops bracing for disappointment. And that's why this compliment is so powerful, because it tells her, when I'm with you, my mind quiets down. Now, listen carefully. Many men think attraction is about excitement. They think the goal is to make her heart race, to make her feel butterflies, to make her feel nervous, to make her feel adrenaline. But butterflies are not always love. Sometimes butterflies are anxiety. Sometimes butterflies are the body warning you that something is unstable. And younger women learn this lesson slowly, often through pain. They date the exciting man, the unpredictable man, the emotionally intense man. They confuse chaos with passion. They confuse inconsistency with mystery. They confuse emotional highs and lows with connection. But eventually, if she is intelligent, she starts to realize that the most dangerous man is the one who makes her nervous system addicted to uncertainty. So when an older man says, "I feel peaceful around you," it does something different. It signals emotional stability. It signals that he is not here to play games. It signals that he values calmness over control, and that is rare, because most men don't compliment women in a way that reflects emotional depth. They compliment women in a way that reflects desire. They say, "You're gorgeous." They say, "You're sexy." They say, "You're hot." And yes, she has heard those words 1,000 times. But "I feel peaceful around you" is not a compliment about her body. It is a compliment about her energy. And energy is what women are deeply sensitive to. You see, a younger woman may not always understand a man's intentions, but she always understands how she feels in his presence. That is her instinct. That is her emotional intelligence. And she pays attention to it even when she pretends she doesn't. If she feels tense around you, she will eventually pull away. If she feels like she has to impress you, she will eventually get tired. If she feels like she has to earn your approval, she will eventually resent you. But if she feels peaceful around you, she will crave you, because peace is the foundation of emotional bonding. Now, here is the part most men don't realize. When you say, "I feel peaceful around you," you are also giving her power, because you are not saying, "You make me excited." Excitement makes her feel like she has to perform. Excitement makes her feel like she has to stay interesting. Excitement makes her feel like she has to keep your attention. But peace makes her feel like she can simply exist. And the moment a woman feels like she can exist around a man without being judged, without being pressured, without being tested, she starts to become emotionally attached. Because deep down, every human being wants one thing: a place to rest, not just physically, emotionally. And when you tell her she gives you peace, you are telling her she is a place of rest. That is a spiritual compliment, whether people admit it or not. It is the kind of compliment that makes a woman feel like she matters beyond her appearance. It makes her feel like she has emotional value. And this is important because younger women are often treated like they have aesthetic value, but not emotional value. People admire them, but they don't take them seriously. People want them, but they don't respect them. People chase them, but they don't protect them. So when an older man says, "I feel peaceful around you," it creates a shift. She begins to see herself differently. She begins to think, maybe I'm not just attractive, maybe I'm healing. And that thought is powerful because healing is more meaningful than beauty. Now let's go deeper into why this compliment creates such a strong emotional response. It taps into something most women rarely experience with men: emotional safety. A younger woman is constantly on alert, even if she looks relaxed. She is alert to how men look at her. She is alert to what men expect from her. She is alert to whether she is being respected or being used. And this constant alertness creates internal tension, and you might not see it, but it is there. So when you tell her she brings you peace, you are indirectly telling her something else. You are telling her she is not a threat. And that might sound strange, but it's true. Because many men treat relationships like war. They treat women like puzzles to solve, prizes to win, challenges to conquer. They come into a woman's life with ego and competition. They bring intensity, jealousy, possessiveness, company, control. And younger women experience this a lot. So when you say, "I feel peaceful around you," you are telling her you are not coming with war energy. You are coming with calm energy. And calm energy is attractive because it feels like protection, not the controlling kind of protection, the mature kind, the kind where a woman feels she can relax because the man is emotionally grounded. And this is exactly where older men have an advantage if they use it correctly. Your value is not in being louder than younger men. Your value is in being steadier, because younger men often bring excitement. But older men, when they are emotionally mature, bring stillness. And stillness is magnetic because stillness feels like certainty, and certainty is what a younger woman secretly wants. Now, here is where many men ruin it. They try to create peace by becoming boring. They think being peaceful means being passive. No, peace is not passivity. Peace is power under control. Peace is emotional mastery. Peace is when you have strength, but you don't need to prove it. Peace is when you have confidence, but you don't need to dominate. Peace is when you have desire, but you don't need to chase. That is the type of man a younger woman will respect, because she knows most men are slaves to their impulses. She knows most men cannot control themselves. So when she meets a man who is calm, composed, and emotionally intelligent, she doesn't just feel attracted, she feels safe. And safety is the beginning of real intimacy. Now, the reason this compliment works so well is because it is also rare for a man to admit it. Most men don't want to admit they need peace. They want to appear strong, they want to appear independent, they want to appear unaffected. But when you say, I feel peaceful around you, you are showing emotional honesty. And emotional honesty is powerful because it creates trust. It tells her you are not playing a role. It tells her you are not performing masculinity. You are simply being real. And younger women are tired of performance. They are tired of men acting like they don't care. They are tired of men pretending to be invincible. They are tired of men hiding behind ego. So when you offer a compliment that reveals your inner world, she feels closer to you because you are not just talking to her, you are letting her in. And when a woman feels let in, she becomes invested. Now here's the truth. If you can make a younger woman feel peace, you will stand out more than any man who tries to impress her with money or charm, because money attracts lifestyle. Charm attracts attention, but peace attracts attachment. Peace makes her think about you when she's alone. Peace makes her miss you when you're gone. Peace makes her feel like she doesn't have to fight the world when she's with you. And in a world that constantly drains people emotionally, the person who feels like peace becomes priceless. So if you want to be unforgettable, stop trying to be exciting. Be grounding. Stop trying to be impressive. Be emotionally safe. Stop trying to make her chase you. Make her nervous system relax around you, because at the end of the day, the man who brings her chaos will be remembered as a lesson, but the man who brings her peace will be remembered as a home. And that is the kind of man she will always return to in her mind, even if life pulls her away. So ask yourself this. When you speak to a younger woman, do you make her feel pressure or do you make her feel peace? Because attraction is temporary, but the feeling of peace stays, and the man who becomes peace in a woman's life becomes impossible to replace. Now let's talk about the fourth compliment, because this one is not just attractive, it is emotionally disarming. It has a quiet power to it. It doesn't sound like seduction, but it creates something far deeper than flirtation. It creates trust. It creates softness. It creates emotional safety. And the compliment is this: you don't need to try so hard. You already stand out. If you understand women, you'll understand why this line is so dangerous in the best possible way. Because it speaks directly to something most younger women are suffering from, even if they smile through it: pressure. A younger woman lives under pressure almost constantly. Pressure to look perfect, pressure to stay desirable, pressure to compete with other women, pressure to keep up with trends, pressure to maintain a certain image, pressure to be interesting enough, exciting enough, attractive enough, entertaining enough. And what makes it worse is that modern society rewards women for performance, not for authenticity. So she learns a painful lesson early in life. She learns that attention is earned, not given. She learns that being loved is not about being herself, it's about being impressive. And even if she doesn't consciously think it, her nervous system carries that belief. That is why so many younger women are exhausted, even when they look glamorous. They are constant. Managing themselves, managing their appearance, managing their words, managing how they come across, managing what they post, managing how they are perceived. And most men don't help. Most men feed this insecurity. They reward the performance. They chase the image. They reinforce the idea that her value is in how she looks and how she presents herself. So when you say, "You don't need to try so hard, you are doing something rare," you are removing the pressure. You are telling her that she can relax. And when you follow it with, "You already stand out," you are giving her something she craves deeply, validation without effort. And that is powerful because it touches her sense of worth. You see, the reason this compliment works is because it communicates something subtle but profound. It tells her that she is not competing in your eyes, that she is not being measured against other women, that she doesn't need to be louder, flashier, more provocative, more dramatic, more perfect. You are saying, even in your natural state, you are enough. And for a younger woman, that can feel like emotional oxygen, because many younger women are not used to being enough without doing something. They're used to being chased for their body but not chosen for their presence. They're used to being admired for their appearance but not valued for their essence. So when an older man says this, it lands differently. It doesn't feel like a cheap compliment. It feels like a statement of certainty. It feels like a man who is not desperate, not easily impressed, not chasing trends. It feels like a man who knows what he likes and isn't afraid to say it calmly. And women are drawn to certainty. Certainty is attractive because it signals stability. It signals that you are not a man who is easily manipulated by surface-level beauty. It signals that you have standards and that you are not ashamed of them. But here is where it becomes even more interesting. This compliment also speaks to a deeper fear many younger women carry, the fear of being replaceable, because in modern dating culture, everything feels disposable. One message, one argument, one bad day, and people move on. There is always another option, another conversation, another person, another dopamine hit, and this creates an invisible anxiety in many women. They may not admit it, but they feel it. They feel like they have to constantly maintain their value, constantly stay interesting, constantly stay attractive, constantly stay ahead of the competition. And that pressure creates performance. Performance creates exhaustion. Exhaustion creates emotional detachment. This is why many younger women look confident but struggle with intimacy. They can flirt, they can attract, they can charm. But when it comes to being emotionally vulnerable, they hesitate. Because vulnerability requires safety, and safety requires the belief that you don't have to perform to be loved. So when you tell her you don't need to try so hard, you're giving her that belief. You are telling her you can stop performing. I'm not here to consume you. I'm here to appreciate you. And then when you say you already stand out, you're telling her something even more powerful. You're not invisible to me, because many women, even beautiful women, often feel emotionally invisible. People see their face, but not their feelings. People see their body, but not their mind. People see their youth, but not their humanity. And being emotionally invisible is painful. It creates loneliness. It creates the sense that people love what you represent, not who you are. So when you say she stands out, you are telling her she has presence, not just beauty. Now let's talk about why this compliment is particularly effective coming from an older man. Because an older man is expected to be impressed by youth. He's expected to be impressed by beauty. He's expected to be impressed by surface-level things, and many older men do exactly that. They become overly impressed, overly excited, overly eager. They start acting like teenage boys around a younger woman, as if her attention is a miracle. And that energy is unattractive, because it makes her feel like you don't have control over yourself. It makes her feel like you are not grounded. It makes her feel like she has power over you, and while that might inflate her ego temporarily, it will eventually reduce her respect. But when an older man calmly tells her, "You don't need to try so hard, you already stand out," it communicates something different. It communicates that you are not easily impressed. It communicates that you are not chasing. It communicates that you are observing, and that makes her curious, because women are not attracted to men who chase them like a prize. They're attracted to men who look like they could walk away. Not because women enjoy games, but because the ability to walk away signals strength. It signals self-respect. It signals that you are not dependent on her validation. And a woman will always respect a man who respects himself. Now, here's the philosophical depth behind this compliment. It speaks to the difference between being valued for what you do versus being valued for who you are. Most people go through life believing they must earn love. They believe love is conditional. They believe they must achieve something, become something, perform something, prove something. But the healthiest love is not earned. The healthiest love is recognized. It is when someone looks at you and sees your worth without requiring you to audition for it. And younger women are rarely given that kind of recognition. Instead, they are constantly rewarded for being entertaining, seductive, impressive, or visually appealing. So when you remove the need to try, you are giving her the experience of unconditional respect, not unconditional love, but unconditional respect. And respect is the foundation of emotional connection. Now, here's the important part. This compliment only works if it is genuine. If you say it in a patronizing way, it fails. If you say it like you're correcting her, it fails. If you say it like she's silly for trying, it fails, because women are not attracted to men who diminish them. They are attracted to men who elevate them. So your tone matters, your energy matters, your delivery matters. It should sound like calm admiration, not judgment. It should sound like you're impressed by her natural presence, not like you're criticizing her effort. Because what you are really saying is, you don't have to compete, you don't have to prove yourself, you don't have to perform. Your existence already has value. And if you understand what that does to a woman's mind, you will realize it creates a bond far deeper than flirting ever could, because flirting is temporary, but feeling safe enough to be authentic is rare, and humans become attached to what is rare. Now, let's be honest. Many younger women are not actually trying hard because they want to. They are trying hard because they have learned that the world rewards them only when they do. They have learned that if they relax, they might be forgotten. If they stop performing, they might be replaced. If they stop impressing, they might lose attention. So when you give her permission to relax, you are not just complimenting her, you are healing a part of her. And the man who heals a woman's insecurity becomes unforgettable, not because he is perfect, but because he gives her something she cannot easily find elsewhere. A place where she doesn't have to compete, a place where she doesn't have to pretend, a place where she doesn't and have to constantly prove she is worthy. That is why this compliment is powerful. It is not about making her feel beautiful. It is about making her feel secure, and security is what creates long-term attraction. So if you want to speak to a younger woman in a way that separates you from every other man, remember this: do not reward her performance, reward her presence. Do not chase her image, recognize her essence, because a woman can get attention anywhere, but she cannot get genuine acceptance everywhere. And the moment she feels accepted around you, she will start associating you with emotional peace. She will start feeling calmer in your presence. She will start trusting you without even understanding why. Because trust is not built by promises. Trust is built by how safe someone feels being themselves around you. So the next time you speak to her, don't just tell her she looks good. Tell her she doesn't need to try so hard. Tell her she already stands out. Because when a woman realizes she is enough without performing, she stops chasing attention. And she starts craving the man who made her feel that way. And here is the closing truth. If you want to be unforgettable to a younger woman, don't make her feel like she has to impress you. Make her feel like she can finally breathe. Because the man who gives her peace becomes the standard she compares everyone else to. Now we come to the fifth compliment, and this one is the most powerful of them all, because it does not flatter her present. It speaks to her future. It does not focus on what she is right now. It focuses on what she is becoming. And psychologically, that is where real attachment is created. The compliment is simple, but it carries weight. I admire the woman you're becoming. Now, if you're listening carefully, you'll realize this is not a typical compliment. It's not the kind of thing a man says casually. It doesn't sound like flirting. It doesn't sound like chasing. It sounds like respect. It sounds like vision. It sounds like emotional intelligence. And that is exactly why it hits a younger woman differently. because most people in her life are focused on her current value, her current beauty, her current youth, her current appeal. People admire what she represents right now, not what she is growing into. People are attracted to her moment, not her journey. And that creates a strange kind of loneliness, because imagine being surrounded by attention, yet feeling unseen. Imagine being praised constantly, yet feeling misunderstood. Imagine being desired by many, yet valued by very few. That is the reality for a lot of younger women. So when an older man says, "I admire the woman you're becoming," something inside her pauses. She feels it. She doesn't just hear it, she feels it, because it touches a deeper part of her identity. It touches her ambition. It touches her struggle. It touches her inner world. And this is important because younger women are often underestimated. They are spoken to like they don't know anything, like they don't have depth, like they're still a child emotionally, like their opinions are temporary and their goals are naive. And when you treat a younger woman like that, she may tolerate you, but she will never deeply respect you. Because respect is not demanded. Respect is earned through how you see someone. This compliment earns respect instantly because it communicates that you are not dismissing her youth. You are not exploiting her youth. You are not trying to trap her inside her youth. You are acknowledging that she is evolving and you are admiring that evolution. Now let's go deeper into why this is so powerful. Every human being is living through a private transformation. People don't talk about it openly, but everyone is becoming something. Everyone is in the process of either building themselves or losing themselves. And younger women feel this intensely because their life is still unfolding. Their identity is still forming. Their confidence is still developing. Their dreams are still being tested by reality. And the truth is, a younger woman is often at war with herself. One part of her wants to enjoy her youth. One part of her wants to be taken seriously. One part of her wants love. One part of her wants freedom. One part of her wants excitement. One part of her wants stability. And she doesn't always know how to balance those things. So when you say, "I admire the woman you're becoming," you are telling her that you see her complexity. You see her process. You see her growth. You see that she is not finished yet, but you still respect her. And that is rare because most men only admire women when they are already polished, when they are already perfect, when they are already convenient, when they are already emotionally easy to handle. But a man with depth admires the journey, not just the destination. And that's what this compliment communicates. It says, "I respect you while you are still building yourself." And if you think about it, that is the deepest form of admiration. Now, here is the psychological truth that many people avoid. A younger woman is not only afraid of being rejected, she is afraid of being wasted. She is afraid that she will give her time to the wrong people. She is afraid she will lose years trying to impress someone who never valued her. She is afraid she will become smaller for love. She is afraid she will abandon her potential just to keep a man comfortable. And many women have watched this happen to other women. They have watched their mothers sacrifice. They have watched their sisters settle. They have watched their friends lose themselves in relationships. So they become cautious. They become guarded. No, because they are arrogant, but because they are afraid of losing themselves. And when you tell her, "I admire the woman you're becoming," you are indirectly telling her, "I am not here to shrink you. I am here to respect your expansion." And that changes everything, because a woman can tolerate a man who desires her, but she will deeply bond with a man who believes in her. Belief is powerful. Belief is emotional fuel. When someone believes in you, you start seeing yourself differently. You start acting differently. You start thinking differently. You start becoming more courageous. And this is why this compliment creates emotional attachment, because now she associates you with growth. She associates you with her future self. She associates you with the version of her that she secretly wants to become, and the man who becomes associated with her future becomes dangerously important to her emotionally. Now let's talk about the philosophical depth behind this. When you admire the woman she is becoming, you are complimenting her direction, not her appearance. You are praising her character, not her aesthetics. You are acknowledging her internal evolution, not her external beauty. And character is what lasts. Beauty is a moment, character is a lifetime. Youth is temporary, growth is permanent. So when you admire her becoming, you are telling her, I'm not blinded by your youth, I'm impressed by your trajectory, and that makes you stand out from every man who only wants her for what she represents. Because many men date younger women for ego. They want to feel powerful, they want to feel chosen, they want to feel relevant, they want to feel admired. The truth is, a younger woman does not want to be someone's ego boost. She wants to be someone's inspiration. She wants to be seen as a person with potential, not as a trophy. And this compliment makes her feel like she is not a trophy. She is a force. Now, there is another layer to this compliment that makes it even more effective. It removes the pressure of perfection. When you tell her you admire the woman she is becoming, you are not demanding that she be perfect today. You are acknowledging that she is in process. You are allowing her to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, to change, and that creates emotional safety because many younger women feel like they are being judged constantly, judged for their choices, judged for their mistakes, judged for their past, judged for what they wear, judged for how they behave, judged for what they believe. So when you admire her growth, you are telling her, I am not here to judge you, I am here to understand you. And understanding is what creates trust. Now, let's be clear. This compliment is not about exaggerating her. It's not about lying. It's not about pretending she is something she is not. It's about noticing what is already there. Maybe she is disciplined. Maybe she is ambitious. Maybe she is emotionally intelligent. Maybe she is learning from her pain. Maybe she is healing. Maybe she is building a career. Maybe she is trying to become a better person. Whatever it is, your job is to observe it and speak it out loud. Because when you speak someone's growth out loud, you become part of their transformation. And people never forget those who were present during their becoming. Think about it. Everyone remembers the people who believed in them before they were successful. Everyone remembers the person who said, "You're going to be great," when they were still doubting themselves. Because those words become a kind of emotional landmark. They become a moment the person returns to mentally when they are struggling. So when you tell her, I admire the woman you're becoming, you are planting a seed inside her, a seed of confidence, a seed of self-respect, a seed of motivation. And that seed grows. Now, let's talk about why younger women particularly respond to this compliment from older men. Because older men are supposed to have experience, they are supposed to have perspective, they are supposed to have wisdom. And when a younger woman feels that an older man sees her potential, she begins to feel safe with his vision. Not safe in a childish way, but safe in a deep psychological way. She feels that you are not impulsive. She feels that you are not blinded by deep desire. She feels that you are not looking at her like a fantasy. You are looking at her like a human being with a future. And that is rare. And that rarity becomes attractive because most men only see what they can take from a woman, but a man who admires her becoming is a man who sees what he can build with her, and building is the highest form of love. Now listen carefully, because this is the truth that separates emotionally mature men from emotionally immature men. Immature men want a woman who makes them feel important. Mature men want a woman they can make feel powerful. That is the difference. When you admire her becoming, you are empowering her, and when a woman feels empowered in your presence, she begins to respect you deeply, because she realizes you are not threatened by her growth. You are not threatened by her ambition. You are not threatened by her future. Instead, you admire it. And any woman, especially a younger woman, will feel emotionally drawn to a man who is not intimidated by her evolution. Because the sad truth is, many men want women to stay small. Many men want women to stay dependent. Many men want women to stay easy to control. But the man who says, I admire the woman you're becoming, is not trying to control her. He is honoring her journey. And that honor creates emotional connection. So if you are an older man watching this, understand what I'm about to say. If you want to leave an impact on a younger woman, stop complimenting what she already hears every day. Stop complimenting her face. Stop complimenting her body. Stop complimenting her beauty. Those compliments are everywhere. Instead, compliment her evoluti on, compliment her growth, compliment her resilience, compliment the way she is shaping herself into something greater, because beauty may get her attention, but being admired for her becoming will touch her soul, and the man who touches her soul becomes unforgettable. So here is the final truth. A woman may forget the man who desired her, but she will never forget the man who respected her future, because the most powerful compliment is not the one that makes her feel attractive, it is the one that makes her feel capable. So speak to her potential, speak to her growth, speak to the woman she is becoming, and watch how differently she looks at you. Because when you see a woman's future clearly, she starts seeing you as part of it,